Incognito mode. One of the most popular features in Google Chrome. In this mode, it feels like you're all alone in a private room on the internet. No history, no cookies, no saved data. Feels pretty secure, right? But here's the twist. Incognito mode isn't as incognito as it looks. You're still being watched in ways most people don't realize. How is that even possible? Well, that's the part we don't really think about. And today, let's break it down, the dark side of incognito mode. Before we dive in, how often do you use incognito mode? Rarely? Or maybe almost all the time? So, what exactly is incognito? Basically, incognito is just a private browsing mode. And it's not exclusive to Chrome. Other browsers have it too, like private browsing in Firefox, in private browsing in Internet Explorer, private tabs or private windows in Opera, and many others. If we go back in history, it all started pretty simple. Private browsing first appeared in Apple's Safari on April 29, 2005, with Safari 2.0. Then in 2008, the idea suddenly exploded in popularity. And that's when other browsers began adopting it, including Google Chrome. Chrome introduced incognito mode on December 11, 2008. Back then, it was known as the fastest browser out there. And even now, it still gives you that feeling of a more private and secure experience on the internet. How it works is actually pretty similar to regular browsing. When you visit a website, your browser sends a request to the site server. And the server sends the web page back to you, just like normal. The difference is, in incognito mode, your browser doesn't save any data about the sites you visit. So even though the server still sends information to you, none of that data gets stored in your browser. In other words, you're browsing without leaving traces behind. You're basically unrecognized on your own device. As for what people use private browsing for, there are all kinds of reasons. But the most common one is pretty obvious: hiding visits to sensitive sites from your browsing history. Well, you know what I mean. Fun fact, when private browsing first came out, people even joked about calling it porn mode. But that nickname isn't really used anymore. But aside from those, kinda sus reasons, incognito mode is actually useful for something else, like resetting search keywords for SEO. Here's why. If you search for something in regular Chrome while you're logged in, your top results are shaped by your Google account's interests. For example, if you watch a lot of cat content on your Google account, then no matter what you search, Google will push results that lean toward cats. Because it thinks that's your preference. But in incognito, it's like starting fresh. No account, no stored preferences, no interest profile. So the results you see are just the strongest keyword matches. Basically what would naturally show up first for that search. On top of that, for people who sell or shop online, incognito lets you check real market prices without any hidden adjustments. In normal mode, online stores often tweak prices based on your habits. If you're always hunting for discounts, you'll get more discounted items recommended. If you usually buy things without thinking too much, you might get pushed toward pricier options. But in incognito, none of that happens. Prices stay normal, not too low, not too high, because your data and preferences are hidden. And of course, there are plenty of other uses for incognito mode beyond that. But here's something most people never realize. Outside of all those functions, private browsing, or incognito mode, is kinda a myth. Yeah. Let's jump into the darker side of this feature. Because the truth is, incognito doesn't actually make you fully private. On Chrome, all it really does is stop things like cookies, browsing history, and a few bits of data from being saved locally on your device. But in reality, your search activity in Incognito can still be tracked. It's a bit complicated, but plenty of IT experts have proven it. And that's not all. Incognito doesn't hide you from your internet service provider. Whether you're using home Wi-Fi, office Wi-Fi, or your school's network, they can still see what you're doing, even in Incognito. Kinda ironic, right? You open Incognito, feeling extra careful, just to watch something questionable. You finish watching, close the tab, and you feel so secure, thinking nobody knows. But on the other side, your ISP, and even Google, are basically laughing at what you're doing. And at this point, it's basically common knowledge that Incognito isn't as secret as it claims. Back in 2020, Google actually got sued for tracking and monitoring users' activity in private browsing mode, or in other words, Incognito. The problem was this: from the beginning, Google always claimed that their private mode was safe, private, and fully incognito. But when people realized that wasn't really true, privacy advocates started to speak up. The lawsuit dragged on for years, all the way until 2023, when Google finally settled the lawsuit and paid $5 billion to wrap everything up. According to several articles, Google's explanation was that they collected data from Incognito users to help advertisers understand users' habits. But, learning from the dark side of this case, it's pretty clear that we're never fully safe on the internet. Even if we use private browsers, VPNs, strong passwords, and every security trick we know, there are always gaps. There are always ways for our personal data and privacy to be monitored, or even stolen. So next time, be careful on the internet. Don't get too reckless, and don't expose too many personal details, or anything embarrassing, especially in this era where everything spreads so fast. So yeah, that's Incognito. The feature that makes it feels like you're on a private server all alone, but in reality, your activity can still be seen. But if you're using Incognito for normal things, then actually it's totally fine. It's still a really useful feature. What do you think? Do you still trust Incognito mode? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe.